Howdy, and welcome to lesson 2 on abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset. In lesson 2, we're going to explore how to develop an abundance mindset. Do you have an abundance mindset or a scarcity mindset? Here's another way to ask that question. So, how do you see your glass? Half full or half empty? I observe that people who see their glass as half empty have a scarcity mindset. And once you see your glass as half empty, it's like wearing a blindfold that limits your ability to see where you're going. People who see their glass as half full have an abundance mindset. They open their minds to see where they're going, their vision, and help the most people along the way. Well, I'm one of those people who has always seen my glass as half full because I believe that more is always coming to fill my glass until it overflows. As I've said, when I look over my life, I don't have any regrets. Have I made mistakes? Yes. Have I had times when I was very disappointed? Yes. Still, somehow, I have always learned from my mistakes, overcome disappointments, and move forward. Even when I make a mistake, instead of dwelling on it, my thinking usually goes to considering my next options. Over time, I have realized that my perspective comes from principled decisions supported by an abundance mindset and a grateful heart. Every person can develop an abundance mindset by adopting the following attributes. First, understand there is enough for everyone. Second, give time, talent, and treasures. Third, don't compare yourself with others. Fourth, think win win. Fifth, embrace gratitude. Let's look at the first of the 5 attributes to understand there's enough for everyone. Abundant thinkers know there's enough in the world for everyone to share in the piece of the pie. They understand that the more you share in a principled way, the more the abundance grows. Scarcity thinkers believe there's not enough of anything to go around. They fear that there will not be enough for them, especially if they share with others. Now let's look at the second of the 5 attributes. Get time, talent, and treasures. Abundant thinkers know that giving their time, talent, and treasures will come back to them in so many ways, thus increasing the abundance in their own lives. This principle process strengthens and fosters team building and creative thinking that supports continual improvement. Scarcity thinkers do not share. After all, they are driven by a deep seated belief in an expedient way that there isn't enough to go around. So they cannot afford to give anything away. They truly believe that if they share their knowledge or wealth, they would lose power and possessions both now and in the future. The freedom and success enjoyed by abundant thinkers become obvious when we contrast it with the limiting beliefs of scarcity thinkers. Scarcity thinking weakens our effectiveness and keeps us from realizing our full potential. But a perspective of abundance ensures that there's always enough to go around and keep us moving forward. When I was in high school and in college, I always did the extra credit work. I didn't need the extra grade because I usually already had an A in the class. So why? Well, my dad suddenly died and I became the boss of our small family company at 20 years old. I would stay up late into the night, diligently studying about our industry as well as trends in other industries. But why? Somehow I just knew that through all this extra effort, I was developing and building my character, who I was becoming. I approached life with an abundance mindset, and I knew that personally, I had so much room to grow. Now let's look at the third of the five attributes. Don't compare yourself with others. Abundant thinkers don't compare themselves with others, only with themselves. They set realistic goals and then work to achieve them. They encourage others to do the same. Their goals are based, in a principled way, upon a logical study of achievable results in each step. Scarcity thinkers continually ask themselves why they aren't like others or why they do not have the things others have. They often view others as younger, prettier, or, or more handsome, and they conclude that such characteristics give those others unique advantages. Scarcity thinkers focus on the outcomes and the achievements of successful people and fail to acknowledge the investment of time, money, and resources that always precedes such success. In the workplace, these types of supervisors lead in an expedient way by keeping their workers subservient, since equality would be viewed as competition. Now let's look at the fourth of the five attributes. Think win-win. Abundant thinkers find common ground with their colleagues and fellow citizens. They know that unresolved conflict is wasted time and energy and subtracts from an abundant environment. They see the possibility of win-win and assume that there is a way for all concerned to profit and thrive. They understand that constructive criticism, often offered in a principled way, helps others to grow. Scarcity thinkers want to be the center of attention because they want all they can get for themselves. They know, sometimes unconsciously, that for this to happen, others have to lose. They think that if they can use expedient means to get something done more quickly, their win justifies their survival of the fittest approach. So now let's look at the fifth of the five attributes. Embrace gratitude. Abundant thinkers live lives of gratitude for the abundance of the world in which they live. They are positive and upbeat. To them, life is continuously replenished bowl of fresh fruit, all ripe for the taking. They teach others how to be positive and live in gratitude. Scarcity thinkers are not grateful for what they have. They see their life accomplishments as a result of only their own hard work and are unable to give heartfelt thanks to others for helping. In the workplace, these types of thinkers teach their fellow followers that life's abundance is limited. So they had better do what they need to do to grab, in an expedient way, the brass ring. So how we see our current circumstances is much more important than the actual situation itself. Our response to life challenges and opportunities will either reflect a mindset of abundance or scarcity. And an attitude of gratitude plays such a large role in having an abundance mindset. If emotions could be bottled and sold, gratitude might be a controlled substance. People who express an abundance of thankfulness can experience a happiness high that can last for a long time. In the workplace, employees feel better about themselves when their boss expresses more gratitude for their efforts, and they even desire to work harder. Leaders who set out to build grateful cultures often start by thanking their employees. Building happy teams isn't just a top-down job. Friendliness and gratitude also flow in many directions at once, from leaders to followers, followers to leaders, colleagues to colleagues, and even employees to customers and suppliers. In today's selfie culture, which often rewards bragging and arrogance over kindness and humility, studies have found that gratitude was associated with greater well-being. Grateful people experience daily hassles and annoyances just like everyone else, but they tend to view their setbacks through a different lens, reframing challenges in a positive light. This is why Maya Angelou said, "Try to be a rainbow in somebody's cloud." To the church in Philippi, Paul wrote in Philippians chapter 2, verses 3 and 4. Do nothing from rivalry or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourself. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. Selfish ambition can ruin a place of business, but genuine humility can build it. Being humble involves having a true perspective about ourselves. It does not mean that we should put ourselves down. Before God, we are sinners, saved by God's grace, but we are saved and therefore have great worth in God's kingdom. We are to lay aside selfishness and treat others with respect and common courtesy. Considering others' interests as more important than our own links us to Christ, who was the true example of humility. Paul encouraged us to guard against any selfishness, prudence, or jealousy that might lead to dissension. Show genuine interest in others in a positive step forward in maintaining unity among believers and in the workplace. In lesson 1, we have been exploring how to develop an abundance mindset. The more we understand the differences between an abundance mindset and a scarcity mindset, the more likely we'll be able to make principled decisions from a place of abundance. The freedom and success enjoyed by abundant thinkers become obvious when we contrast it with limiting beliefs of scarcity thinkers. Boy, just like kryptonite affects Superman, scarcity thinking weakens our effectiveness and keeps us from realizing our full potential. But a perspective of abundance ensures that there's always enough to go around and keep us moving forward. So, do you have an abundance mindset or a scarcity mindset? What challenge or opportunity are you facing today that would benefit from a shift toward an abundance mindset? Well, in this lesson 2, write down 1 or 2 action items that you would like to take today. And this concludes lesson 2 on abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset.